A Town Named Silver Halloween Special. So, Randy, are you going to tell me what your costume is for tonight's Halloween party? Asked Mandy. Are you going to let me know what yours is? I replied. No, Mandy responded. There you have my answer, I told her. I want it to be a surprise, I said to Mandy. Me too, she replied. All right, that settles it then, I responded. How big is this event? I asked Mandy. Oh, it's a huge event, replied Mandy. I don't even know what to expect, she said. The committee that put the Halloween party together is very secretive, said Mandy. They work on it all year round, Mandy continued. I sure hope Gramps is not part of the Halloween committee, I told Mandy. Actually, he is, she replied with a laugh. Oh boy, I responded. Anything could happen, I said. Gramps always has one of the best costumes, said Mandy. And yes, anything could happen, she added. It is being held at Silver Convention Hall, correct? I asked Mandy. Yes, Mandy replied. I have an extra flyer for the event, said Mandy. Here, Randy, she said, as she handed me the flyer. So, it is from 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m., I responded. I'm curious what the spooky drawing is all about, I asked Mandy. Me too, she responded, but I have a feeling that they have something big up their sleeve this year. I need to pick up a few more things to finish my costume, said Mandy. I'll see you tonight, Randy, Mandy added. Expect to have a wonderful time and probably a very late night, she continued. Sounds fun, I responded. See you tonight, Mandy, I replied. I already had my costume ready to go, so I headed back to my apartment to get rested up for tonight. After resting at my apartment, I cleaned and prepped my camera. I also had some editing to do on some photos I had taken, and a few other projects to get done. Around 7:45 p.m., I began putting my costume together. Now time to head over to the convention hall. I arrived at the convention hall around 8:45 p.m. There was already a line of ghosts, ghouls, witches, and other creatures lined up and going inside the convention hall. I walked inside and stood there for a few seconds, taking in the scene. Mandy was right, I thought to myself. This is a huge event. All of a sudden, I caught sight of another pirate in the corner of my eye. I decided to have a little fun and approached them with an "Ahoy, matey! Ahoy!" I walked up and tapped the pirate on his shoulder. Ahoy, matey, I said. The pirate turned around, made eye contact with me, and then stopped in the middle of his reply. Randy? The pirate asked. Mandy? I replied. Well, shiver me timbers, I told Mandy. Then we both began to laugh. Well, blimey, said Mandy. Great minds think alike, she said. You are absolutely right, I replied. This is great, said Mandy. There is actually a contest for the best couple's costumes, Mandy continued. Arr, I replied. We have a great chance of winning. Arr, replied Mandy. We do, matey, she replied. Hey, Mandy, I said, let's stand back and see if we can identify the people in their costumes. There's Henry, replied Mandy. I see Maria, I said. Their costumes are awesome, I added. Yes, they certainly are, replied Mandy. Henry and Maria saw us and walked over. Hey, guys, said Maria. Two swashbucklers, I do declare, said Henry. You guys decided to do matching costumes, said Maria. That's great, she continued. Actually, we didn't plan it at all, replied Mandy. Great minds think alike, said Henry. Yes, they do, we replied. We love your costumes, too, we told Henry and Maria. Thanks, they replied. Hey, Henry and Maria, we are trying to figure out who it is in their costumes, I said. Want to join us? I continued. That sounds great, replied Henry and Maria. Look, I see Gladys the librarian, said Henry. I see Mrs. Higgins dressed up like a black cat, said Maria. That is great, we replied. Hey, Maria, there's your dad dressed up like a werewolf, I said. Love it, I continued. There is my Aunt Maggie dressed up like a white witch, said Mandy. That is too cool, she continued. Is that your brother Matt dressed up like a scarecrow? Asked Maria. It is, Mandy replied. He is such a goofball, she continued. Great costume, though, all of us replied. Hey, where's Gramps? I asked. Oh, he likes to come in late and make a grand entrance, replied Mandy. Look, said Maria, there he is now, she continued. Wow, what a great costume, said Henry. It sure is, we all agreed. That is the best vampire costume I've ever seen, replied Henry. The rest of the evening went very well. Mandy and I won first prize for the best couple costumes. Mandy's brother Matt won an award for the most creative costume, and Gramps won best overall costume. Henry and Maria got second place in the pumpkin toss contest. The evening continued with music, dancing, food, and fun. When the clock struck 11:30 p.m., a man walked up to the DJ and used his microphone to make an announcement. My name is Charles, but you can call me Chuck. I'm a member of the Halloween committee here in Silver, and will be closing out our evening with the spooky drawing, he said. Closing the evening out for some of you, that is. I will explain in a moment. Everyone gather around. Here are the rules, he said. Everyone will draw one card from the spooky box. Inside the box are cards with either a picture of an orange pumpkin or a picture of a black pumpkin. There are the same number of cards as we have guests. The goal is to draw a card with a picture of a black pumpkin, he said. There are only 4 of those cards in the box, he continued. The 4 individuals who draw the black pumpkin cards will be our contestants in our final challenge, he said. Once you draw a card, don't show it to anyone else, he continued. Find a spot on the dance floor until the winners are revealed, Chuck said. Everyone lined up to draw from the spooky box. The anticipation was great. Will I get a black pumpkin card? Will I get a black pumpkin card? You would hear many of them say as they were drawing from the box. Everyone had to play it cool, though, not to reveal the identity of their card. The last person drew their card from the box. Now everyone was waiting with anticipation. The man with the microphone then said, Will the individuals with the black pumpkin cards please step forward? Slowly, one by one, each person came forward. First, it was Jessica Miller. Jessica was so excited that she ran up quickly. Jessica is a 3rd grade teacher here at Silver Elementary School. Second, it was Sam Smith. He goes by the nickname Sparky. Sparky is a letter carrier at the post office here in Silver. Third to come forward was Samantha Garrett. She goes by Sam. Sam works as a clerk at the courthouse here in Silver. Everyone kept looking around to see who the 4th person would be. No one stepped forward. To be honest, I was so tired at this point that I didn't even look at my card. We have one more black pumpkin card out there, said Chuck. Everyone take a look at your card, he continued. Mandy was standing right beside me and asked, Randy, did you look at your card? I didn't, I replied as I pulled the card out of my back pocket. Why not? She whispered to me. As everyone kept waiting for the 4th person to step forward, I was too tired. Besides, the chance of drawing a black pumpkin card is very slim. Come on, don't be shy, the announcer said as he scanned the room. Everyone was double-checking their cards. I unfolded my card as Mandy was leaning over my shoulder. Yep, I said, it's a black pumpkin card. I can't believe it, I told Mandy. I have the final contestant right here, Mandy yelled out as she waved her hand in the air and gently pushed me forward. Everyone began to clap as I walked up front. We have the final contestant, the announcer said as everyone continued clapping. Thank you, everyone, the announcer said as the room began to get quiet. So what will these 4 be doing for the final contest? First of all, everyone won something tonight. We have had a wonderful time, wouldn't you agree? The announcer asked. Everyone clapped with approval. Everyone, please take an orange pumpkin home with you tonight. There are plenty to go around. We have something spooky special for these 4 contestants, said Chuck. A contest. Hold on to the ghost or ghoul beside of you, he said. For big prizes. I mean big prizes. All 4 of these contestants can be winners, said Chuck. All they have to do is spend the night in Kinzer Manor. You mean haunted Kinzer Manor? Replied Jessica Miller. No, thank you, she said. That place is haunted, she continued. You can give my card to someone else, said Jessica. I'm sorry, Jessica, said Chuck. It doesn't work that way. You can forfeit your spot if you like, said Chuck. Gladly, said Jessica as she tore her card in half. No hard feelings, I hope, said Chuck. No hard feelings, Jessica responded. Do I get to keep the black pumpkin, she asked. Absolutely, said Chuck. We are down to 3 contestants for tonight, said Chuck. He looked at the 3 of us and asked, anyone else dropping out? All of us looked at each other, and then one by one we told Chuck that we were in. We received another round of applause from the crowd. Everyone, please join us as we travel to Kinzer Manor to give our final condolences. To offer our support. We will drop them off at Kinzer Manor at 11:45 p.m. Strange things happened there at midnight, someone from the crowd yelled out. You could see others agreeing with them. Those are only rumors, said Chuck. Anyway, all they have to do is spend the night. They must leave by 7 a.m. sharp the next morning. There's one caveat, said Chuck. To win, you must enter and leave by the front door only. So what is the prize, you might ask, said Chuck. They won't know until morning, he continued. Anyone who wants to can meet us at Kinzer Manor shortly before 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Chuck looked for Mandy in the crowd. When he spotted her, he said, Mandy, your boss said you have to be there to cover the story, said Chuck. Gladly, replied Mandy. I wouldn't miss it for anything in the world, she continued. Chuck looked at each of us while grabbing a notepad. I need each of you to sign a waiver of liability before we head over to the manor, said Chuck. I also need each of your cell phone numbers, he added. You may withdraw from the contest at any time. Simply exit the back door of the manor. Text me and someone will pick you up and take you back home. Chuck had each of us put his number in our cell phones. I may text you periodically, said Chuck. Sound fair? He asked. Yes, sounds fair, we replied. All of us headed out to Kinzer Manor. It was only a few miles outside of town, off a back road. We had quite a caravan that followed us. Gramps was driving the 3 of us to the manor, while everyone else followed. We pulled up to the manor, and I have to admit, it looked really spooky. We have all the essentials inside the manor for you guys, said Gramps. You'll find sleeping bags, flashlights, candles, some drinks, and snacks. Oh, and there's a working restroom on the 2nd floor, he continued. If all 3 of you stay the night and come out by 7 a.m., the prizes will be split evenly, except for one grand prize. We will put all 3 of your names in a hat to draw out the winner of the grand prize, he added. Now get going, kids, said Gramps. You have about 15 minutes until midnight. Don't dilly-dally, he continued. Go, 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 said Gramps. All 3 of us exited the car while Gramps yelled out, Remember, if anyone remains until morning, you must exit the front door by 7 a.m. sharp, not a second after. We know, we replied. We waved to everyone who followed us to the manor as we ran up the porch stairs. Everyone waved back and yelled out, Good luck! We quickly went inside the manor. We could hear the car horns beeping and becoming more distant as everyone drove away. Well, we are here, I said. Yes, we are, replied Sparky and Sam. We should make ourselves as comfortable as possible, said Sam. Sounds like a plan, Sparky and I responded. It is about 10 minutes until midnight, Sam continued. You know, guys, whatever happens, this whole thing is set up, I told them. If we stick together, we can all get through this, I continued. I have learned from experience to expect the unexpected, especially if Gramps is involved, I added. The 3 of us enjoyed getting to know each other as the time continued to press closer to midnight. Sam looked at her cell phone and said, Guys, we have 1 minute until midnight. Do you think anything will happen? She continued. Time will tell, replied Sparky. Oh, I'm pretty sure you can count on it, I said. When the time got down to 10 seconds before midnight, we decided to count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Midnight! Spooky music began playing. A scared cat ran across the floor, jumped on my lap, and then ran away. We heard thumping noises. Sam almost ran out of the room. Sparky couldn't believe his eyes. I wasn't expecting all of that at once, said Sam. Me neither, said Sparky. Well, it was definitely something unexpected, I replied. Pretty spooky, I continued. However, I have a feeling that was just the beginning, I added. I hope that was it, said Sam. I'm not sure my heart can take another scare like that. Sparky happened to turn around and look at the mirror on the back wall. Look at that spooky ghost picture they're trying to scare us with, he said. The ghost in the picture proceeded to float out of the picture and out of the window. Explain that, said Sam. Things are certainly getting interesting, I replied. Creepy, said Sparky. I've never seen anything like that, he continued. We all agreed. It was quiet for about the next 10 to 15 minutes. We began casually talking again until we heard what sounded like a metal wrench tapping on a pipe in the basement. That's pretty annoying, I said. Are we going to investigate it? Asked Sparky. Why not? Said Sam. Let me go first, she told us. Sparky and I looked at each other and responded, Why not? You are brave, we told her. Brave or stupid, Sam replied. Sam opened the basement door, and a spooky skeleton begins laughing while swinging a metal wrench in the air. Oh my, said Sam as she slammed the basement door shut. What was it? We asked Sam. And what was the terrible laughing sound? Oh, nothing, said Sam. Just a skeleton with glowing red eyes trying to attack me with a wrench. That's enough for me, guys. I'm calling it quits, said Sam. All this excitement is making my blood pressure skyrocket. Are you sure? We responded. Oh, I'm sure, said Sam. I'm getting tired anyway and want to go home to get a good night's sleep, she said. If I don't have nightmares of this place, she added. Sam grabbed her cell phone and headed for the back door. Well, it looks like you and me, Sparky, I said. It sure does, he replied. We have to settle down and realize this whole house is potentially booby-trapped, I said. I brought some cards so we can take our minds off of things, I told Sparky. That's a great idea, Sparky replied. We sat there and played 500 rummy for about an hour. We grabbed some snacks and drinks while we were playing cards. It helped us to relax and we didn't have any interruptions. It was nice. Sparky then said, I have to go to the bathroom. This is going to sound strange, Sparky continued, but would you walk upstairs with me, Randy? Safety in numbers, I responded. I have to go myself anyway, I said. We rolled out our sleeping bags on the floor before we went upstairs. We walked up the old winding, creaky staircase to the second floor. Every picture on the wall going up the staircase seemed like it was watching us. We made it to the second floor and it got really spooky from that point on. A witch was laughing in the window at the end of the hall. There were 4 doors in the hallway. Each door had a large black question mark on it. We made our way to the far end of the hallway, telling ourselves, this isn't real. This isn't real. Now we had to try one door at a time to find the restroom. We should ask the witch in the window, I told Sparky. I don't think so, he replied. She looks a little busy right now, he added. I'll open the first door, I told Sparky. I have a bad feeling about this, said Sparky. Me too, I replied. Oh, just a big ugly alien with a ray gun here, I said, trying to remain calm. The alien walked down the hallway and down the stairs. We could hear him go out the back door. Your turn, I told Sparky. Sparky opened the door, and a huge, hairy werewolf came out. The werewolf also went down the hallway and ran down the stairs and out the back door. You're up, said Sparky. What do you suppose is behind door number 3, I said. I hope the restroom, replied Sparky. I really have to go, he added. Nope, I replied after opening the door. Just a bunch of crazy bats, I responded. All of the bats flew down the hallway and out the window. One more chance, I told Sparky. Sparky opened the last door that had the question mark on it. It was the restroom. I wish we had opened this one first, said Sparky. For sure, I replied. Sparky went in first. After a few minutes, I heard him let out a scream. There was a reflection of a scary old man in the mirror instead of his reflection. "Hey, are you all right in there?" I asked. "I could definitely be better," Sparky replied. Sparky opened the door, and there was sweat on his forehead. "What happened in there?" I asked him. "You'll find out," replied Sparky. "Your turn," he said. After I went in and used the restroom, I walked to the sink to wash my hands. All of a sudden, a reflection of Snow White was in the mirror instead of my reflection. I burst out laughing. "How could you be laughing in there?" said Sparky. "Did you see the same thing I did?" he said. "Never mind," he added. I came out of the restroom, and we both headed back downstairs to try to get some sleep. It was after 1:30 a.m. by this time, and we were both tired. We made our way to the bottom of the stairs and entered the living room. What we saw was shocking. 2 large old coffins were there instead of our sleeping bags. "Okay, this isn't funny," said Sparky. "I don't know," I said. "It's pretty sneaky. Let's open them to see what's inside," I told Sparky. "You go first," he said. "All right, here goes nothing," I replied. "Well, it's probably something, the way this night has been going," I continued. I opened my coffin, and there was nothing inside, only a padded red lining. "Your turn," I told Sparky. "I was afraid you were going to say that," said Sparky. "Would you open it for me?" asked Sparky. "All right," I responded. I opened the lid, and out came a large snake. Sparky began running for the back door while the snake was chasing him. "I'm sorry, Randy, but I'm out of here," said Sparky. I didn't even have time to reply. "Well, it looks like I'm here by myself now," I said out loud. Or am I? I pushed the coffins aside and laid a sleeping bag down on the floor. I zipped myself inside the sleeping bag the best I could. I set my alarm for 6:30 a.m. to give myself plenty of time to be out the door by 7 a.m. I placed earplugs in my ears to block out some of the noise. Then I fell fast asleep. My alarm went off at 6:30 a.m. I stood up and stretched for a while. I gave my brain time to adjust. Then I did some Tai Chi. I needed it after last night. Everything was calm this morning. Around 6:45 a.m., I walked to the front door to go outside. However, I tried to turn the doorknob, and it was locked from the inside. "Gramps!" I yelled out. The old lock had been completely turned around, and the only way to open it was with a key. Just then, I received a cell phone message from Chuck. The message read, "What type of key do you need there, Randy?" And I thought to myself, a skeleton key. I realized they're playing a riddle game with me. "All right," I said to myself, "where did I see a skeleton last night? Aha! The skeleton Sam saw in the closet." I quickly went over to the door where Sam had seen the skeleton. I opened the door, and sure enough, the skeleton had a note in its hands. The note read, "When is a door not a door?" I should know this riddle, I thought. My friend from school told me this many years ago. Got it. A door is not a door when it is ajar. A jar. I need to go into the kitchen and find a jar. I ran into the kitchen because time was certainly ticking. I must get the front door unlocked by 7 a.m. I quickly opened the cabinet doors in the kitchen looking for jars. I found none. I saw a tall pantry and rushed over to open it. Sure enough, there were jars there. One jar was filled with skeleton keys. I grabbed the jar with the skeleton keys with little time to spare, and I ran to the front door. I dumped all the keys beside me on the floor. I tried the first key, but it didn't work. I tried 5 more keys with no luck. I grabbed the 7th key, and voila! With only 3 minutes to spare, I opened the door. Townfolk and friends were waiting outside, cheering and clapping. Gramps and Chuck were the first to greet me, followed by Mandy, Henry, and Maria. Sam and Sparky were also there to greet me. "Congratulations," everyone said. "Thank you so much," I told them. "You are still alive?" Henry asked. "I think so," I told him. Mandy put her head on my chest and said, "Yeah, his heart is still beating, probably just a little faster than before," she added. Chuck shook my hand and congratulated me. Then he said, "I'm going to take you back into town so you can receive your prize." Everyone else is going to follow. Since Sparky and Sam didn't qualify, you also get the 2 consolation prizes. What were the consolation prizes? I asked Chuck. $500 for second and third place, or fourth if there would have been a fourth place, he responded. That is all right, I replied. I want Sam and Sparky to have the consolation prizes anyway, if that's all right. That's fine, replied Chuck. Thanks, Randy, Sam and Sparky replied. No problem, I told them. On the ride into town, I told Chuck, you guys sure put on a show, I told them. How in the world did you pull all of that off, I asked. Gramps was riding in the back seat. Smoke and mirrors, my boy, replied Gramps. Smoke and mirrors. Well, that was some smoke and mirrors, I responded. We arrived in town and everyone gathered on the sidewalks. A brand new silver SUV came down the road with a red ribbon on top. Here comes your prize, Randy, said Chuck with a huge smile on his face. Everyone was clapping and cheering. I don't know what to say, I told them. Thank you so much, I said. Having Wills will be wonderful. I feel so honored and thankful, I added. You guys certainly put on an amazing Halloween event, I said. We put a lot into it, they replied. You certainly do, I said. Mandy came up and kissed me on the cheek. I'm so thankful to be part of this town, I told Mandy. We are glad to have you here, she replied. I'm still exhausted, so I'm going to drive back to my apartment to rest. I'll call you and we'll meet up later, I told Mandy. Sounds good, she replied. I thanked the Halloween committee again. Then I waved to everyone on my way to my new car as everyone clapped and cheered. I drove down the road and continued to smile and wave to the wonderful people in a town named Silver.